Hi, Peter, Jeff. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you, Steve.
Good to see you both. Exciting topic, one that's very buzzy in the news. We're going to be kind of focusing a little bit on artificial intelligence and just really kind of real estate values and purchases that are affected by this trend. Uh, in terms of new companies, startups being formed that need office space, we're really seeing that focused on the traditional hubs. In the US, about 42% of AI companies are concentrated in the San Francisco Bay Area, and then followed by like Boston, Seattle, New York. That's where we're really seeing the startup growth, new employees getting hired for this technology and needing somewhere to work out of. Uh, to me, maybe the more interesting trend here that kind of deviates is the infrastructure. Traditionally, data centers have been built near major cities to be close to the end users. But with artificial intelligence, we're seeing a different pattern here. AI infrastructure is giving more weight to lower energy prices, lower land costs, more kind of business-friendly regulations. This is driving growth towards less crowded markets in the U.S. Atlanta would be an example of that. AI infrastructure really requires computing speed, high-speed connectivity networks, power supply, cloud infrastructure, data storage. You got to house all that stuff somewhere. And as AI grows, we're definitely going to need more in terms of the infrastructure, also not just startups. Uh, your thoughts on some of what we're seeing in AI that's driving property purchases or leasing activity?
Go ahead, Peter.
Well, and what we're seeing now, I think, is going to be very different from what we see a year or two down the road. We're seeing office space devoted to AI in San Francisco. Granted, the vacancy rate is high, but the rents are still high. But that's where the knowledge center is right now, and that's where the interest has been. It's come through Stanford University, and it's in the hands of the venture community um, in Menlo Park. But once AI is developed, the software can operate anywhere, and it is going to gravitate toward the cheaper land first off and cheaper energy. It just is. It can be in deposit, so to speak, or accessible from any point thereafter. So I think it's a temporary trend that you're seeing 42% of AI companies centered in San Francisco. That's going to change. They may be the same companies, but they're going to operate elsewhere.
Well, and they might actually even not be the same companies. I mean, once you, to your point, once you have the algorithm built and it's sitting in a data center, I mean, how much office space do you need? Um, Even how many employees do you need? I don't, you may need 100 today, but 5 years from now, you may only need five.
Yeah, I mean, the venture capital model is that you expect most of the companies you're funding to be failures. And you're really trying to find those home runs, those, future Google's, future Facebook's, Meta's, is, future. I mean, there's just a long list that populates the NASDAQ, but you don't forget all the failures, which were most of them. The successes are so big, it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Every technology, you see the growth pattern you're talking about, Peter.
And the other thing that happens in technology, especially the Bay Area, is consolidation.
Yep.
Uh, that one company buys another one and folds it in,
Excuse me.
and that's going to happen in AI.
Yeah, and that's why, at least to me, the infrastructure play here is more interesting, because it is a deviation from what we've seen. It does involve kind of some new opportunities in terms of targeting land that's going to give you the accessibility for that infrastructure, lower cost energy, lower price land. And we as a company always kind of like targeting those areas that are business friendly, just because things may change, but for a business-friendly region, it tends to keep attracting businesses even as technology changes, companies change. So to me, it's actually that kind of infrastructure play here that may be the more interesting one. Appreciate the inputs, guys. I'm sure we'll definitely be talking about artificial intelligence because it seems to have no danger of going away from the news.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Steve.